Folks, I hope you are ready for a very exciting, very intimate, long-awaited, highly anticipated makeover, because today we are doing my own bedroom. I'm wearing black. It's black. Okay. Welcome to Laugh Cry DIY. I am Katie, and we are sitting here lounging in my very boring blank box bedroom. She is simple, she is basic, but like all rooms, there are some things I need to address. Number one, she is all white. No. Ugh. I am a colorful maximalist, and I cannot sleep soundly in an all white room. Number two, we have one awkward window on this wall. Off to the side, randomly there, no balance, no symmetry, and I can't stand it. That said, we do have a second window that does bring in some nice light. But overall, we have good bones, we have a nice blank canvas, and I am finally ready to bring my vision to life. That said, let me be honest for a moment. Although I run a YouTube channel that is all about DIY and decor, I could not, for the life of me, figure out what I wanted to do for this room. I kept mood boarding in different directions. I would go back and forth. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I think I just needed to really live in the space to know what I wanted from it. All that to say, if you are living in a very undone house for months or years and you feel like you don't know what you're doing, guess what? Me too sometimes. Now, today's vision is going to be a blend of all my favorite things. Hollywood Regency, Art Deco, chinoiserie, little hit of color, little hit of pattern. And we are going to start by painting the walls pink. Here we have three beautiful bachelorettes. Now I wanted the room to feel kind of soft and romantic and cozy without being like too bold and overpowering. So today we are going with the winner, which is Marry Me by Benjamin Moore, which is described as a upbeat pink with a warming glow. Perfect for a bedroom. All right, folks, it is paint time, and I wanna get this done as quickly as possible. So I'm gonna use two tools. Numero uno, my lovely, beautiful little edging pad. This is my favorite thing in the world. It helps you cut in so you don't have to like manually paint in corners. It's the best. And secondly, I am feeling rich today, not because of health, wealth, or friendship, or family, but because I have an 18-inch roller. Let's talk quiet luxury. Let's talk glamour. Let's talk efficiency. Make friends with people who have 18-inch rollers. Thank you so much to my friend Robbie for lending me this. And now let's get our sexy paint pour into our 18-inch bucket. And one last emotional support sip. All right, let's do this. Oh, but first I have to load my edger. I'm going to do that with this little paintbrush to start, just so that it doesn't get sloppy everywhere. Oh, and I'm gonna time how long this actually takes me, because as we all know, emotionally, painting takes 24 hours, and in real life, it takes probably 45 minutes. Okay. And just so you can see how great this edging pad is, it goes right up to the edge and makes such a nice line. 1 hour, 3 minutes, and that was with a little goofing around. So I will say, in the words of our forefathers, give me an 18-inch roller or give me death. This is an actually life-changing tool, so just saying. I'm gonna hit it with a second coat and we will be back. Okay, whole room is painted. It is soft, rosy, glamorous, romantic, cozy. And now the first thing we need to do is add the rug, because it's a beast and it needs to go down. Okay, actually we might have to do the rug reveal on the bed, because here's the thing. I actually live with a man who is my husband, and I wanted the room to be a kind of mix of like feminine, masculine, but I kind of wanted it to be a sort of like cozy lover's jungle. So although we started off with the rosy pink, I did want to add in some nice rich greens. And because we are going for a sort of Hollywood Regency-ish kind of vibe, I wanted something that was crisp and clean and kind of graphic, but had an interesting sort of silhouette. So, okay, do you see these edges? Honestly, here's a better picture of it. But I liked this because I wanted to actually kind of feel like I was walking into grass and stepping on grass when I woke up. This was the perfect anchor for the room, And you will find out later why I specifically wanted something with this kind of cutout edge. But now I have to figure out how to get this underneath the bed. She's an independent diva and she doesn't ask for help because no one's home anyways. Wow, look how pretty that is and how that just magically appeared. And don't look at that part. All right, party people, we are painted and I'm very happy with that. However, I'm very unhappy still with this unsymmetrical situation. So, what are we gonna do to solve it? Well, because this is a bedroom, I want softness, I want coziness, and therefore I want nice textiles. And we have this window, and I don't always really like blinds, so we are going to add curtains to the windows in this room, and we're gonna do something freaking crazy, and that is pretend there's a window here and add curtains there too. Scandalous, I know. So, let's pretend like I just added this French rod here. I specifically wanted a curtain rod that would go the length of the windows, and because we are gonna be sleeping here and getting a side view, I wanted a French rod which curves all the way around so that the curtains would go all the way around and not leave a weird, annoying gap that would blind us with sunlight in the morning. The little details like that you don't think about until you get blinded in the morning. And because we're gonna be opening and closing these a lot, I also wanted to add curtain rings for easy opening. I got these little minis here, and we're installing this second rod on the opposite side of the bed, the exact width of the window so that we have perfect symmetry. And now we can add our drapes. Now, because I knew that these drapes would be framing the bed in a sort of dramatic fashion, I wanted drapes that would be as dramatic, glamorous, and kind of bold as possible. And so I chose probably a very controversial color, which is this kind of outrageous chartreuse situation. And I know this color is very bold for some people, but because I wanted a kind of glamorous jungle, it was the perfect shade for me. That said, I did have to search so hard to find the right velvet curtains in the right sheen, because if you can see here, it's not crushed velvet, but it does have this kind of satiny sheen, which is very fun and glamorous. And honestly, as I've been putting this together, I've been thinking this is kind of becoming like a 60s Elvis honeymoon suite, I don't know. Also, because I knew these were going to be a kind of dramatic focal point, I really wanted to make sure that these hung really beautifully, and therefore, I got this iron-on pleat tape, which you can get online, I'll link it below, along with these little pleating hooks. And I spent a whole evening figuring out the right pleating pattern for me. You can find those online, there's a lot of tutorials, but I wanted to make a really beautiful kind of ripple fold that would come down really cleanly. And to make sure that these fold straight on, I also added these little jump rings to each ring. You can buy rings that have these built in, but that way when you hook them, they do fall straight on. For the record, I am just a big fan of curtain rings. I think they're very convenient and easy. They're very inexpensive. Also, FYI, curtain rings are helpful. If your curtains are like this much too short, you can get some larger curtain rings that'll help drop them down. You can pull them up. A lot of options if you are having curtain issues. Now, I want to show you how these columns will fall. I can just go in and kind of karate chop in between each pleat, and you will see these kind of nice ripples forming. Also, you can train your drapes by which you fold them into the right folds and you tie them at the top and down at the bottom, and then that helps them kind of keep that memory and keep those folds really nice. And we're also adding them to the third window with the most unpleasant lighting. Also, is this good ASMR? I don't think so. And now you can see how we have used good old-fashioned witchcraft to pretend that there is a second window. Oh, I love this. But not enough drama because we're missing a headboard. So this actually might be hard to believe, but this is going to be my most minimalist, maximalist room. And so I wanted to do a kind of subtle headboard. And because I love chinoiserie so much, I thought it would be cool to do a folding screen as a headboard. So let's meet my subtle, minimalist headboard. Oh, there she is. Now, this is not what she originally looked like. In a previous episode, I thrifted a funky little chalkboard folding screen and I turned it into this dramatic chinoiserie moment. Guys, this is actually gold contact paper. I will link that episode below if you want to see how I did that. Now, here's the tragedy. I knew from the beginning that this whole scene would not show, but I thought I might reuse it in the future, so I did do a whole thing. I added a little jaguar, I added this little spider monkey. However, tragically, I have to kill one of these panels. If I do all 4 panels, this actually has more framing than I would want it to have, and so it like half cuts off this panel, and it half cuts off this panel, and it feels, I don't know, it feels a little clunky to me. So I think I'm just gonna use 3 of the panels. And I have to decide if I'm going to use just the tree or a little bit of the tree and the monkey. Does it need 4? Does it need 3? I feel like it looks cleaner with 3, but let me know below, guys. 3 or 4, and do I kill the monkey or not? But you guys can see, when I just do the 3 panel, even though it's slightly shorter, I think it looks a little cleaner. We're gonna go with that for now. So, of course this is a bedroom, and of course we need some bedside tables, and of course we need to continue our chinoiserie moment. And so we're gonna bring in these beauties. Now let me tell you about these twins, Tia and Tamara. So I looked for months and months and months and months to find faux bamboo nightstands that were wide enough and that had a solid base. I have a lot of feelings about nightstands. I don't like dust gathering underneath. I want it to be really sizable. I want it to be to scale because I often have a lot of junk on my nightstands. And fortunately, I finally found these on Facebook Marketplace, but they were in kind of rough condition. So I did also do a total makeover to turn these into these black and gold beauties. I will also link that below if you haven't seen it. That said, once I actually got the nightstands in the space, I realized because we have our bed on a little bit of a higher platform, they were way too low. And so I actually ended up building a second base for them. I just grabbed some simple 3-inch pieces, went ahead and primed that, went ahead and painted that, wood glued them on, and now they're higher and you would never know if I didn't tell you. One note, however, if you're gonna add any height to a table like this, you need to make sure that the base is gonna be strong enough that when you open the top drawer, it's not gonna tip over. So just think about that to avoid any moments of hell. There's also one thing that always goes on here, and that is our lovely cat Baguette, who likes to sit out and stare at this window. Because of our little kitty queen, and because I like to have open bedside tables so that I can put my laptop or my coffee and I don't want a bunch of cluttered stuff, we are not going to do little bedside lamps. Instead, we're gonna get our lighting up and off of the surfaces and onto the ceiling. So I wanted some kind of soft, diffused lighting, and lately I have just been obsessed with lanterns, specifically Hoi An lanterns. These are traditional Vietnamese lanterns that come in a variety of silhouettes, a variety of colors. They are often hand painted. They originated from a port city that had a lot of Chinese and Japanese merchants coming through, and so they kind of combined all the Asian lantern styles into one. And you can find a lot of versions of these online. I will link some Etsy shops below that specialize in the hand-painted ones. However, I wanted to support local business, and fortunately, I live close enough to Little Saigon that I went to the Asian Garden Mall to see what types of lanterns I could find. And they had so many beautiful versions, but I went ahead and grabbed a simple white one for now. So here we are. It usually has this tassel on the bottom, but to start, we're gonna get rid of that. I got a pair of this particular lantern for a few reasons. Number one, I wanted a very specific silhouette, a simple round silhouette. I also wanted it to be the correct scale, size. It does have a little printed pattern on it, which gives it some nice little texture dimension, but it is too plain for my liking. So we are going to lightly tint this. And to do that, I have watered down my pink wall color. Also, one helpful tip, if you are creating a sort of dye solution, be that watered down paint or whatever, and you're not sure what the color's actually gonna be, just take a simple white paper towel, dip it in, and then that'll help you see what the color's actually gonna be. And we're dry and we are ready to paint. Oh baby, look at these big, beautiful lanterns. They are great. However, we still need to add a little zhuzh to them via some fringe on the bottom, because although we had the original tassel, it hangs really long and I wanted something that was a little bit shorter. So we have a cute little pop of color in the form of this little mustard yellow gold fringe. And so we are simply going to use our little hot glue gun to get this beautiful fringe on. However, if you look up close, that fringe is still kind of thin and scraggly, much like my own hair, so we need to add some extensions via a second layer. All right, now she and I have more self-esteem. Okay, now to hang these, I did two things. One, I got these simple little gold pendants online. I will link those below. And I did actually cut off the wire hanger that was there before because I wanted it to be a very clean line. And instead, I sort of fashioned a little piece from that exact piece so that it could fit in and then hold it up. Now, to get it into the ceiling, I found a great hack for all my renters. I found this little hook on Etsy. It's a ceiling hook, but it's really cool because it doesn't use screws. It actually uses nails in a particular angle. So super easy, super thin nails, easy to get up there, and then you just stick that on, twist it, and it's good to go. Also, these hooks twist whichever way you want within the container, so that's very convenient if you need to switch directions. Does it work? Oh, yes. And for the record, I did put clearance between the lantern and the curtain just to make sure that that wouldn't get hung up, you know? Whew. And now, guys, we get to do the sexiest thing anyone can do in a bedroom, and that is release the little fringe below because it has a little stitching to keep it together while you're working with it. Are you ready? Okay, that was a little anticlimactic, but now I can trim her up and make her all pretty. And now it is time to turn our attention to the bedding. So when it comes to bedding, I wanted to add a little more color, a little more pattern, a little more fun, but do it in a kind of subtle way. And personally, I love pattern sheets. And so I found these very interesting anthropology sheets. They have a really small pattern, but it is very maximalist. It includes a ton of colors. In fact, I don't think there's a color that's not represented. I also really like that because there's so many colors in them, they can be very versatile for any future room decor I do if I wanted to change things up. And for the record, I've always heard people argue over this, but if you have pattern sheets, I was always taught to make the top sheet with the pattern down so that when you fold them back, you get the pattern. Some people fight me on this, and by some people, I mean my husband. And now, for our duvet, I wanted to sort of play with these shades in the room, the pink and the green, adding some more saturation or less saturation in different areas. And so I searched very long and hard to find the perfect pink that was in my head, and that is this bad boy. I love how these sheets contrast. I just love having that little pattern peek out. It's so sexy to me. It's kind of like showing its little panty lines or something. And for fun, I'm adding in these big boys. These also have a little fringe texture on them, just for that much more fun. Boom. Alrighty, next up. Folks, this is a real functioning bedroom. Can you believe? And therefore, I really need to use underbed storage. I have a lot. However, I also like a bench at the edge of the bed. So I have this old bench that I thrifted, and I think it's great because there is open space underneath for me to store stuff in. However, I wanted something more jungly, more sexy, more glamorous. And so I decided to create a slip cover for this, a very cool tiger print. I will link the episode where I made this below, but I did purposely construct this to have this little side panel that opens up so that I could open and close this as I needed to get stuff in and out. We also added the bullion fringe because you know all tiger has fringe in the wild. And also, I didn't just make a tiger print bench cover. I also made a matching little bolster pillow. Ooh. All right, folks, now let's turn our attention to this side of the room, previously unseen. So we have this simple blank area. We have this little alcove. I did not paint inside there, and I'm kind of just not acknowledging it because I have a bookcase there and I need to get doors for it. It's like a whole thing. So we're just gonna kind of ignore that. However, we do need storage and we need it in very specific dimensions. And so I got this, ooh, very nice, very tall waterfall dresser. Now I got this for a few reasons. Number one, the curved edges are very nice, very soft. I like that. It does have some fluting for some texture. It's the exact dimensions I needed. Make up your mind. However, it was a little bit difficult to maneuver getting a rug in this room, and that's why, if you will recall, I got this very specific rug design so that it would perfectly lie around the corners there. However, this area is feeling a little blank and boring. I wanted to add a mirror so that this could be a kind of vanity moment. And because this faces directly opposite a window, I wanted a really sizable mirror so that it could feel like a second window. I already had this big wood mirror on hand, and I decided to give it a fun little makeover. I wanted to do almost kind of a little boho or a bone inlay kind of feel. So I did this black and white pattern and then went in and freestyled a random design. And now, she's perfect. Do you guys see how large that is? Oh, I love it so much. I also just love the beautiful arched shape here. It also pulls in the black from the chinoiserie nightstands, which we really needed. And I wanted to be a little dramatic and extra. And so I wanted to flank the mirror with these little sconces. These are really, really light. And originally I thought I might need to mount this on the mirror if I didn't have enough space on either side. So I got this really light version. And now we can just hang these little beauties on either side and add even more drama with some patterned candles, which perfectly fit in and actually match the bedspread. Now, to round this out, I do have a few more things we need to do. We do have some painted outlet covers just to camouflage some things. And yes, I'm even going to paint the little screws. And lastly, a few more details. We need to make our jungle dreams come alive with a few beautiful plants, including this beautiful little tree. And I'm gonna hide this outlet with this cool vintage umbrella stand that I'm turning into a planter. And lastly, my craziest thing and my favorite hack, which is when the windows are open and the curtains are open, obviously the left side will not be open because it's just a wall. Unless you take a mirror that you already had on hand and you hang it at the exact height of the window. Then you create a false window, you maintain your symmetry, and you make the room feel that much bigger. If you have a low light space, if you have a small space, this is such a brilliant hack, especially if you even hang curtains around the mirror to make it feel like there's a window there when there is not. And now, darlings, we are finally ready for our minimalist, maximalist bedroom reveal. All right, guys, it looks fine in the day, but let me tell you, at night, this is the glamour. If you want to change your life, get some lanterns, cheaper than therapy. So thank you for coming along my romantic jungle cruise. Like I said, I will link items below if I mention them. If you want to see more fun room makeovers, I will link my playlist below, as well as all of the videos where I DIY'd a ton of this stuff. If you are a big DIY lover, feel free to sign up for my newsletter below. I send out a monthly little roundup of DIYs, decor, fun inspiration. Also, if you enjoyed any part of this video, please give me a like. If you've given me likes before, please give me a subscribe. I'm always trying to grow the channel, give you more DIYs, but the algorithm hates me. But lucky for me, I can now relax and forget the world and the algorithm in my new romantic, beautiful jungle. Oh, wait, one last thing I wanted to show you. The secret window. What it actually looks like when it's open. Do you see? That is truly still my favorite hack of all time. And now, my dears, it is time for me to take a bath and go to bed, even though it's still light outside. Okay,